The weight of a divine assignment is one of the most profound realities a chosen woman will ever experience. When you are set apart for something greater than yourself, your life ceases to be ordinary. You cannot live like everyone else because your calling requires a higher level of accountability. This sense of being constantly observed is not an illusion. It is a natural result of carrying a unique purpose. The moment you were chosen, your life was placed on a stage, and every decision you make matters not only to you, but to those who will be impacted by your assignment. That awareness creates a sense of constant visibility, even when no one is physically around, because deep within, you know that your steps are ordered and monitored for a reason. Carrying an assignment means you have been entrusted with something valuable, and valuable things are always protected, guarded, and watched. Think about how the world treats precious resources. Diamonds are hidden, stored in secure places, and closely monitored because of their worth. In the same way, when you are chosen, heaven secures you in a process that ensures you are not contaminated, broken, or misused before you fulfill your purpose. This process may feel restrictive because you are aware that you cannot move carelessly or act impulsively. It is not punishment, it is preparation. The weight of your calling demands that you walk carefully, make deliberate decisions, and live with intention, because the impact of your actions is far greater than what you can see right now. This sense of being watched often brings both pressure and protection. Pressure, because you feel you cannot make mistakes like others do without consequences. People may laugh at someone else's failure, but if you stumble, it becomes a headline in their conversations. This is because you are not living for yourself alone. Your life is tied to destinies you have not even met yet. That level of responsibility forces you to operate in wisdom and self-control. Protection, because the watchful eyes around you often prevent you from entering places or relationships that could sabotage your assignment. Sometimes, the uncomfortable awareness that someone is always observing your actions is what stops you from compromising your values. That watchfulness acts as a guardrail, keeping you on the right path even when temptation tries to pull you off course. The weight of an assignment also changes how heaven interacts with you. When you are chosen, you do not get away with what others get away with. You may notice that when someone else makes a poor decision, nothing seems to happen, but when you make the same choice, correction comes quickly. That is not because you are unlucky. It is because you are loved and protected. A chosen woman is like a soldier on active duty. She cannot entangle herself with civilian affairs. The restrictions, the discipline, and the sense of being constantly evaluated are all part of making sure she is ready for the mission ahead. Many women struggle with the feeling of isolation that comes with being chosen. They wonder why they cannot live freely like everyone else, why they always feel eyes on them, why they are constantly evaluated for their words and actions. The answer lies in the significance of what they carry. If your purpose was small, no one would care what you do. But because your influence will shape lives, you are set apart and observed to ensure you are fit for the role. This is not a burden to resent, but a privilege to embrace. Being watched means you are trusted with something important. It means you are becoming the example others will follow. So the next time you feel the weight of eyes, whether visible or unseen, remember that it is a confirmation of your assignment. You are not being controlled, you are being cultivated. Every great leader, every influential woman, every history maker has walked through this reality. They all lived with the awareness that their lives were not their own. And now it is your turn. Carry the weight with grace, because it is shaping you into the woman who can handle the destiny you are created for. Feeling watched is not just a random experience. It is often part of a carefully designed process that shapes your character and prepares you for greater responsibility. When you are chosen, your life becomes a living demonstration of principles that others need to see. But before you can influence others effectively, your own integrity must be tested. Observation is one of the most powerful tools for this process. It places you in situations where your true values, intentions, and commitment are revealed, not only to others but also to yourself. When you sense that people are watching, it creates an atmosphere of accountability. You become aware that your actions are not hidden, and that awareness forces you to think before you act, speak, or decide. This is not meant to imprison you, it is meant to purify you. Anyone can appear faithful when no one is watching, but the real test of character happens under pressure, under scrutiny, and under constant observation. This is why many chosen women feel that their lives are under a microscope. Every move is analyzed, every word weighed, every choice examined. It can feel exhausting, but it is part of a refining process that builds inner strength and maturity. Observation exposes inconsistencies, and it is those inconsistencies that often prevent people from reaching their full potential. For someone who is called to lead, inconsistencies can be costly. The observation phase forces you to align your actions with your beliefs. If you claim to stand for integrity, will you still hold that position when you are criticized or when compromise could make life easier? If you say you trust God, will you remain steady when circumstances make no sense? Being watched amplifies these questions because every small decision becomes significant. The more you embrace this reality, the stronger your character becomes. This sense of being watched does not always come from people you know. Sometimes it is society observing through cultural expectations, workplace standards, or community norms. Other times it is people you least expect, those who are silently learning from your example or waiting to see if your words match your lifestyle. And then there is the spiritual dimension, unseen forces assessing your resilience, your commitment, and your readiness for elevation. This is why compromise is dangerous for chosen women. The moment you lower your standards, someone notices, and that observation can shape their perception not only of you, but of the values you represent. The feeling of constant observation can also reveal the areas where you need growth. When you feel that pressure, pay attention to what it exposes in you. Does it make you defensive? Does it make you strive for perfection to gain approval? Or does it push you toward authenticity, knowing that your worth is not in people's opinions but in your ability to live by your convictions? These moments are opportunities for transformation. The goal is not to perform for an audience, but to become consistent, genuine, and trustworthy regardless of who is watching. Testing through observation is never comfortable, but it is essential. Imagine a bridge being tested before cars drive across it. Engineers apply weight, stress, and pressure to ensure it can carry the load without collapsing. The same principle applies to you. Before you can carry the weight of influence, wealth, leadership, or spiritual authority, your foundation must be tested. The observation you feel is part of that stress test. It proves that your character can handle what is coming. So, when you feel watched, do not interpret it as judgment, interpret it as preparation. You are being positioned for something greater, and that requires refinement. Stay faithful under scrutiny, because the same people who watch to see you fail may one day watch to learn how you succeeded. And the unseen realm that tests your consistency will one day celebrate your promotion when you pass the test. Influence is a magnet for attention, and when you are chosen, influence is already written into your destiny, even before you realize it. The reason chosen women feel watched is because they carry an unseen authority that others can sense, even if they cannot explain it. People are drawn to you not just because of what you do, but because of who you are becoming. Something about your presence communicates potential, leadership, and greatness, and that naturally attracts observation. Influence, whether recognized or not, always invites scrutiny because others want to understand what makes you different. Even in your silent seasons, when you feel hidden and overlooked, people are still watching. They may not say it, but they notice your decisions, your resilience, your ability to handle challenges. They study how you respond under pressure, how you carry yourself when things go wrong, and how you interact with others when no one is applauding you. Influence is not about position, it is about presence. And when you have been chosen, your presence carries weight, That weight commands attention, and attention creates the feeling of being constantly observed. This reality often brings mixed reactions from people around you. Some watch because they admire you and secretly hope to learn from you. Others watch because they are curious, trying to figure out what sets you apart. And then there are those who watch because they are waiting for you to fail, so they can confirm their doubts about you. Regardless of their motives, the result is the same. You live in an atmosphere of visibility. That visibility is not a punishment, it is an indicator that your life carries significance. When you carry influence, even without trying, people measure their own standards by yours. They want to see if your convictions are real, if your integrity is consistent, if your excellence is genuine. They observe how you manage relationships, opportunities, and setbacks. And here's the truth: the higher your influence, the less private your life becomes. This is why chosen women cannot live carelessly. Every choice matters because your influence extends beyond what you can see. Someone is modeling their decisions after yours. Someone is gaining courage because of your strength. Someone is holding on because you didn't give up. Influence is responsibility, and responsibility always draws observation. This level of attention can feel overwhelming, especially when you did not ask for it. You may find yourself thinking, why can't I just live freely without everyone analyzing me? The answer is because your life is not ordinary. You were designed to lead, and leadership begins long before you receive a title or platform. It begins in the unseen moments where your discipline sets the tone for others to follow. People do not only learn from your victories, they learn from your struggles, your perseverance, and your ability to stay grounded when the world expects you to break. Understanding that influence attracts attention should change your perspective. Instead of resenting the eyes on you, recognize the privilege and the power in that position. Observation means impact. It means your life is sending signals to others, even when you are silent. This is why it is essential to be intentional with your actions, words, and attitudes. You do not need to be perfect. Perfection is not the requirement. Authenticity and consistency are. People do not need a flawless example. They need a real one. Someone who stands firm in values even when it costs something. The attention that influence brings is not meant to crush you. It is meant to shape you. It teaches you self-awareness. It pushes you to grow emotionally and spiritually. It challenges you to rise above pettiness and live from a place of purpose. And most importantly, it prepares you for a future where your influence will not just attract observation, but transformation in the lives of those who encounter you. So when you feel watched, smile, not out of pride, but out of understanding. It is a sign that you carry something powerful, something rare, something worth observing. That is influence, and it is proof that you were never called to blend in. You were chosen to stand out. Being an example is one of the greatest honors, but it also carries one of the greatest costs. When you are chosen, your life becomes a reference point for others, whether you agree to it or not. This means that your actions, decisions, and even mistakes are magnified, not because you are perfect, but because you represent a standard that others look up to. You are not just living for yourself. You are living for the people who draw strength, direction, and hope from your journey. That is why chosen women often feel like they are under constant observation. Their lives are not private laboratories for trial and error. They are classrooms where others come to learn. The cost of being an example starts with the reality that your choices carry more weight than you realize. A decision that seems small to you could be monumental for someone watching you. If you compromise your values, someone else may conclude that compromise is acceptable. If you give up on your dreams, someone else may lose the courage to fight for theirs. On the other hand, when you persevere through challenges, maintain integrity under pressure, and choose faith over fear, you become living proof that greatness is possible. This is why the cost of being an example includes constant self-awareness and intentionality in every step you take. Another layer of this cost is the loss of anonymity. Ordinary people can make mistakes quietly and recover in private, but when you are chosen, your mistakes are noticed. People talk about them, analyze them, and sometimes even define you by them. This does not mean you must live in fear of failure. Rather, it means you must live with the wisdom that your life is influencing more people than you know. This can feel heavy, but it is also a sign that your life has meaning. If your actions did not matter, no one would pay attention to them. The attention is confirmation of your significance. Being an example also demands sacrifice. You cannot go where everyone else goes, do what everyone else does, or live like everyone else lives. While others indulge in shortcuts, you must commit to the long road of integrity. While others follow trends, you must stay true to timeless principles. While others seek validation from the crowd, you must remain anchored to your convictions. These sacrifices are the hidden price of influence. People often admire the glory of leadership, but rarely understand the discipline that sustains it. Every great leader you know paid this price, and now so must you. This cost is not limited to personal behavior. It also affects your relationships. When you are an example, you cannot afford to attach yourself to environments or people that compromise your values. Your associations speak as loudly as your actions. The wrong connection can damage your credibility, not only in the eyes of people, but also in the fulfillment of your purpose. That is why isolation often accompanies elevation. The higher you go, the fewer people can walk with you. Not because you think you are better than them, but because your assignment requires greater purity and focus. Even though this responsibility can feel overwhelming, it is also deeply rewarding. Every time someone says, "Because of you, I didn't give up," you realize the cost was worth it. Every time a young woman finds the courage to pursue her dreams because she saw you overcome yours, you understand why you had to endure what you did. Every time someone chooses integrity because you modeled it under pressure, you know your sacrifices were not in vain. That is the power of being an example. You multiply strength, hope, and resilience in the lives of others without even speaking a word. So, the next time you feel the weight of eyes watching you, remember this. You are not being watched to be criticized. You are being watched because you inspire. You are showing someone what is possible. You are proving that faith still works, that perseverance still pays, that character still matters. It may feel like a heavy burden now, but it is the crown of purpose resting on your life. Wear it with humility and grace, knowing that every step you take sets a path for someone else to follow. The reality of being a chosen woman is not a simple path of ease and comfort. It is a journey marked by purpose, responsibility, and influence. The feeling of being continuously watched is not a curse. It is confirmation that your life carries meaning far beyond what you see today. Every glance, every observation, every whispered opinion is evidence that you have been set apart for something extraordinary. You are watched because you carry weight. You are studied because you embody strength. You are analyzed because you reflect a standard that others aspire to reach. This is not about perfection. It is about authenticity, consistency, and faithfulness in a world where compromise is common. The constant observation you feel is shaping you, refining you, and preparing you for the influence you were born to carry. Never forget, diamonds are never left unattended. They are locked, guarded, and monitored because of their value. The same principle applies to you. You are a treasure, and treasures require protection. If it feels like you cannot move unnoticed, it is because your life was never designed for obscurity. You were chosen to lead, chosen to inspire, and chosen to set a standard that others can follow. So embrace the weight, the scrutiny, and even the misunderstanding. Do not shrink back because of the pressure. Rise because of the purpose. Every season of visibility is preparing you for the day when your influence will not only attract attention, but also transform lives. Let your example speak louder than your words, and let your consistency testify to the greatness within you. You are not just being watched, you are being prepared, and when the time comes, the very eyes that observed your process will witness your elevation. Walk with confidence, live with intention, and remember, the cost is high because the calling is great.